Hello, everyone. I'm joined today by Dan, who's here to talk to us about Quick Esports. So welcome, Dan. Could you maybe just start with a little bit tell us about the team and how did it all come together? Because it's quite a wide selection of players and experience. And how did you get this group together?
Hello. It was just like roster mania, kind of, last couple of days or something. So people just switching teams and blah, blah, blah. I was originally gonna play on like that new age team, but with like my friends, just for fun, because I haven't really been playing like that. So it was gonna be like Pastor, Buddy, Sharp, and Natsuki, just like as friends. And then I think that other team just kind of slowly like came together. It was like, oh, Shex is gonna play and Fi is gonna play, and then Pastor was like, it was like a shit meta for him. So he was like, I don't want to play. I just want to play Torbjorn and chill out. So then I was like, okay, maybe I wanted a little bit more serious than this. So then I just joined that other team, and then that was just like that, basically.
So how long have you been together now and practicing?
The day we had like 2 or 3 scrims before the knockout stage, or not knockout, preliminary,
the Swiss
I guess.
Stage.
Yeah, Swiss, yeah. And then after that, we've been scrimming, but not always with full team because Abik had a lot of Saudi stuff. So we had like 12 play Kiri, and that's actually how we just kept on playing Kiri also in Mauga, because we found out that Kiri was so strong.
You've got a pretty good, as far as DPS lineups go, you've got a pretty well-rounded set of DPS lineups. 4 DPS players in the end. What's the sort of breakdown of who's there to do what?
So far, we've only been playing with Fi and Shex, just because, I don't know, it was just like that. It was just predetermined or something. I'm not sure. I guess now that Symmetra is good, we might have to make some changes in the starting lineup. But yeah, for now, it was just Shex and Fi. They're both pretty, like, Shex is not, I guess, the most flexible, but he can play Sombra and Tracer well. And so far, to be honest, everything he's played has been at least good in scrims, so no problem. And Fi is pretty flexible. So.
And how does it work then internally within the team? If we were to look at like who's the main caller, who's calling a lot of the fight plans or making these current decisions in game?
Yeah, me, like 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just do like in this Mauga comp, we figured it out as a team. And in the matches, we did actually a very good job of like going back and forth, with communicating. But in general, the plans and the push-pull and stuff is all me.
Would you see yourself a bit as the sort of like, quite often in teams, you have sort of people who are like, I guess, like a tactical leader in terms of a shot caller, but you also get people who are, I guess, more like the emotional leader if like stuff is going wrong or not working. Yeah. Who's that in your team who sort of, I guess, like rallies everyone together if something's not good?
Me.
You? I'm speaking to the right person then.
Yeah. Well, the other guys, like, they're all like very good players, but they're like quiet personalities. I always compare, because he was like the first guys I've been really with for a long time, like Onigold, like Suna, like Vestola before, in Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
They're just like quiet, very good players, like much better than me, but they're just like kind of quiet. So before the game, I already was like, because it was important, right? We would have been knocked out. So I tried to do everything to make them reassured, because we already know it was kind of like Symmetra coming up the day of the match, but it was too late to practice. So we didn't have any practice. Right, the Korea meta came through kind of too late. So, but it was like, then I'd be ready to play if you get hard stomped. I'm just like making sure that we felt as comfortable as possible. But it wasn't needed, because it was like a hard stomp. To be honest, it was kind of easy.
Well, yeah. And how does your practice schedule look like? Because obviously, there's a lot of teams who maybe sit in like maybe like the SSG camp of like full salary to get to spend the whole time on this. But unfortunately, it's not the same for you guys. So what does your sort of practice schedule look like, trying to work that around everyone's real life commitments as well?
Like, for example, I get off at like 5:30, and then I have to drive home, and then at 6 I have scrims till 8, and then 1 hour break, and then 9 to 11, and then 1 hour before bed, and then I go bed, and then I just go work again. So we usually just do 2 scrims, and we try to do folds when we think it's necessary. But we talk a lot between maps, and we just look at stuff and we think it's necessary, but we don't have like scheduled folds right now, at least.
How does it work then? Can you talk us a little bit through the coaching structure, or what sort of help you have on that side of things?
Yeah, we have a Korean man. I don't know how to pronounce his name because I think I might butcher it, but it's spelled, I don't know, maybe it's like Boot.
Give it a go, I think.
Bootwek? You know this man?
It's actually funny because when I was looking this up, I was also like, I'm not sure how to say it, but I'll ask you and you'll.
Yeah, I never asked him, but he makes a lot of good feedback for us, like word feedback and between maps. His English is not the best, but he really tries his best. So far, all the feedback he's done has been really like helpful, and he's just like a positive guy to be around. It's always nice.
Yeah, well, especially if you've got to try and say do a full-time job and come back and do this, it's probably really important. It's actually a nice atmosphere to come and do this after a full day of work as well.
Yeah, exactly. But to be honest, it's quite nice. So.
And then if we talk about your qualification experience, then because you're in a group with LeftRightGnight, and then initially you get 3-0'd by them, and this was on the old patch. So what went wrong in that initial game?
I didn't play, so that's why we lost 3-0. Yeah, no, I'm joking. I think that meta was just very like mechanically based, and I think mechanically, like individually, those players are probably stronger than us. Also, we didn't have much practice time, right? So we couldn't really like cook up a comp that would be like suiting for us. So we just kind of played like Zarya because we expected to play against Peps, and we felt like that was just going to be like a good pick against them. And after like the groups changed because of some bans and stuff, we got in this group. But first we expected to play against Peps, so we were going to play with Trolls on Zarya. And it turned out to be like a fine thing, because I think we scrimmed them like the day after the groups got changed. Because initially we weren't going to scrim them, right? And then we like 3-0'd or like 6-0'd them in scrims with Zarya. So I think it would have been fine. But yeah, so then it changed, and we got like kind of like stomped hard. So we have to like, okay, we have to do something different. So then I just kind of came out of retirement again to learn a new hero, I guess.
Well, what was that like? Because obviously you're in this really weird situation where you play a group stage, and then you play the first part of a group stage on one patch. Then the patch changes quite significantly, really, in terms of the comps we see. And you have, what was it, like maybe like 3 or 4 days practice to figure out the new meta and get as good as you can at it.
Yeah, to be honest, I had a couple off days, so I just was playing Mauga in ranked, and then I just played some scrims on him, and he comes kind of like naturally to me. I've always been like kind of like the Orisa guy and the ball guy, kind of, and I feel like he's kind of a combination between the two, just understanding some push-pull timings, so not to take damage, stuff like that. So it's like a lot of just like experience from getting stomped in all those owl scrims and learning from that. I feel like that's just helpful for something like this. It's not that hard mechanically. It's just game sense, timings, and stuff.
There's much more of it. It becomes very much a team understanding and team coordination type meta. When you go into that game, then what's the feeling beforehand? Because you essentially then have to get this rematch of a team you lost 3-0 to. Yeah. What's the expectations going into it before the game? Are you sort of thinking like, it's maybe going to be too much, or now we have a good chance?
No, I remember I was talking with Fess. We talk sometimes. We've been staying in contact. Same with like most of the Paris guys. It was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be hard. But I was told him like, no, it's not gonna be hard. I just had a feeling, because as soon as I found out how this meta was played, I thought we would win. I was pretty confident, because Ariel is a very good player, but he's not like a leader. So I knew that if I just played well and helped my team, we would be able to win.
And then do you get that feeling quite early on? Because obviously everything goes quite well for you straight away. Do you sort of feel like, we've just got them in this meta? We've just got the advantage. It's going to be... super winnable from here.
Yeah, first like what is it, like round we played Li Jiang. Shek's like instant died because he tried to TP in window. So but then somehow they were like chasing fight, they missed every cooldown on him, and then we like turned that fight. And then after I was like, okay, these guys are ass. So because that was unlosable. And then we just kind of turned around. We won some fights that we shouldn't have. That like big ult advantage. We like killed Lucio before we beat it, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I was pretty confident. They did end up like playing a lot better when they swapped Kiri and played a little bit more towards their strengths, I feel like. So maybe if the series was longer, would have turned around, but yeah, it wasn't.
So then you now find yourselves in this top 8 situation, and the first team you have to face is Twisted Minds.
Yeah.
Now, on paper, if Korea is to be believed, and there's maybe a Sim and a Sojourn coming in the meta, probably really favors Twisted Minds. So while the patch maybe helped you in the LeftRightGnight game, it might have put you in a very difficult situation against Twisted Minds. So how do you feel going into that first game in terms of how are you going to approach it?
Yeah, we haven't had too much scrim time because yesterday we were gonna scrim, but we couldn't because of my internet, right? So we'll have to see today what we're gonna cook up. I think it's gonna be hard to beat them in a straight up mirror. So maybe you have to make some adaptations to try to beat them. But I'm pretty confident we can at least put up a good fight and then kind of see what we want to do from there if we end up losing. But we'll have to see. Yeah, I think I can get KSA on Mauga at least. So. Yeah.
Where do you feel? Because obviously, when we speak to some teams, and obviously, if you in an ideal world, you'd win the OWCS and claim that first spot. But there's also like there's a lot of tough teams here. So for you guys coming in when there's such a high level of competition in Europe, how far in the tournament would you have to get to sort of look at it and go, "Oh, we're pretty happy with how we did there, and that was a successful tournament"?
Probably like third or fourth or something. I would be happy with. Fifth, not bad either. But I feel like SSG, the Kevster team, and the Twisted, right? Those are like insane. I feel like the rest should be very beatable for us.
Because there is that world then, if you weren't to get past Twisted, you'd end up going to the lower bracket against the loser of Rock and X Oblivion. So would you see those teams as way more winnable or like way more likely to get a result than say some of those like Elite Three?
Yeah, way more. I mean, those guys are just like full-time playing all day, all of them. I know like at least when I played with Crispy, he was in like uni doing some actual stuff, so it's like different. They have a chance.
So excluding your own team, who would you say is the most likely to win?
In this meta, I'd say Twisted, right? Because I just think the DPS suits them very well. But it could also be SSG maybe because they're insane, right? So could be one of those.
Always good in a macro.
Yeah, meta. I don't expect the Kevster team to be that strong in this meta, but maybe they can pop off. So.
And are any of the other teams that you sort of, we talk about like maybe Twisted Minds and SSG are potentially winners in this meta and Spray Check maybe losers?
Yeah.
How do you feel for some of the other teams, like maybe like the Peps or the EXO or Rock? Do you think they'll sort of benefit from this patch or suffered?
I think Peps maybe benefit, but last time we played them, they didn't was so strong on the Mauga meta. So, but maybe they're practicing really hard, right? So I'm not so sure, but I don't think they will sneak their way up very far. And then Rock, I don't think so. And then EXO maybe they're pretty good. But,
yeah, I think that's reasonable. All right, thank you very much, Dan. I do appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course.
Best of luck to you and the boys for the tournament, and we'll see you kick off on Thursday.
Yeah, inshallah. Thank you.